events today in Rabat.
So before I begin the explanation, I think I'll have to say that the Zambia coach or the coaching crew did not understand what permutation is in their favor before their game against Malawi. Because if they do know, their coach Nora wouldn't have complained about the FIFA CAF head-to-head rules, and even their player who could not play that Malawi game yesterday because she was injured, Racha Kundinaji, she wouldn't have complained about the rules because she said she doesn't know the rules. I will let you watch the video.
No events today in Rabat.
How am I? Empty in a way, really empty. I was just with my team and I told them life feels very strange. We know the regulation, it's the question just if these are the right regulations. We topped the group, 6 points. We scored the most goals, 9 goals. We conceded the fewest, 2 goals. And performance was good in the first game. Performance was today. Actually, we were in control. We just conceded, made one little error. And then Tabita is good, and she takes us. We even had the bar in the last minute. So the performance, the only thing I can blame us is the second half time against Nigeria that we did not took over the possession in the numerical advantage. The other 5 half times, I cannot blame my team for this good performance. We were much more stable in defense than on the last tournaments. Good evolution, we brought young players on the pitch. The good balance. So it feels very, very weird, very strange because we feel like we deserved it with our goals we scored, with the goals we conceded, with the points we gained, with everything. I think sometimes we are over-regulating football at the moment. We do regulations which are sometimes going against your natural sense as footballer, as coach, as spectator.
Zambia really played the best games at this tournament. Obviously, you spoke about relegations. What do you think should be the way forward going forward? Like you can have Egypt play and the results do not matter, the goals that you scored do not matter, and yet they were here at this competition.
So your question is, what is the...
What should be done then with such regulations that the game is being over-regulated and you score 6 goals against the team and it doesn't count?
Yeah, we can speak now up and down. The thing is just, this regulation has been invented to avoid that in the last group game that, let's say, Egypt is out, that they, give up and then there is an uncontrolled scoreline or whatever. But we dominated Egypt in the starting game, that's... So I'm not sure if this regulation is really helpful, to be honest. Because I think when you're on a tournament, all the 3 group teams, they give their all in. So I don't think they give up. And it's also strange because when let's say that the scoreline is not counting, then you can usually take players away off the pitch to recover them, But what shall we do in the first game? We don't know if they go through, so it's also not a fair situation. We could not have taken players away from the pitch in the first game to recover them earlier because we did not know is Egypt and the one who going through. So the situation is also not fair like with this regulation. So now we can speak up and down and up and down and up and down, but it's not making it any better. It's just we need to accept it.
Now, this is also the video of Nigerian Super Falcons coach Justin Madugu when he was asked, about the permutation ahead of Egypt game. He said they have checked it and him and his team knows the permutation that will work for them, that is good for them, which means they understood what they needed ahead of that game.
How much will the calculator have been pressing in camp since knowing that we have a funny group where Malawi has 6 points, Zambia has 3 points, we have 3 points, and Egypt also technically can also qualify. So how much have you been using your calculator in camp?
Thank you. Like you said, it sounds funny, but it's a serious matter. We have done all the various permutations of what can get us through, and we know exactly which of the permutations can take us through. We want to have our fate in our hands and not leave it for anybody to decide for us. So we are going straight for what we know will put us through, and that we are aware of.
And not just him, the commentators at that game yesterday, Group C games, did not help matters. They were already projecting Zambia to have qualified, so they were doing their permutation with the normal table, but didn't know that CAF table is the one that works. So the commentators were saying, okay, Zambia has qualified with Nigeria, Malawi has been knocked out. In fact, the worst of it all is that Barbara Banda, who won the woman of the match in their game against Malawi, was asked by one journalist or sports journalist, did you at any time think that it was going to go both ways? So the interviewer was actually telling Barbara Banda that they have qualified when they did not actually qualify.
Not good because we really wanted to win. This is why we came in with full force. And I think my team, we dominated the game. We were on top of the game. So I think as a team, we've done great so far. Do you think, was there any point of the match where you think the result could go either way and you find yourself out of that contention for the next round of the competition? Yeah, we're looking forward to the table so that we see who is leading the table. Unfortunately, waiting for Nigeria and Egypt. So we are calm and focused. Thank you.
You know, I always say there's things that we can control and things we can't control. We did our best. We got 6 points plus 7 goals. You know, 6 goals, I think. Yeah, I think plus 6 goals. So, which is good for the team. And, you know, I wonder when they brought these new rules and they just came back. Like, as I said earlier, there's things that we can control and things we can't control. You know, it hurts, but there's nothing we can do about it.
With the game going almost to the end and you having to watch from the stands, you know, last game we left with discomfort.
So there is a whole lot of education on this CAF head rule that needs to be given to these journalists, sports journalists, and even commentators, because they added more salt to injury to Zambia elimination, because they gave them false hope. So 24 hours after the dramatic Women's African Cup of Nations 2026 Group C, final game was played last night, Zambians are yet to understand the reason why they scored most of the goals, they conceded less goals, 2 goals, and yet they were eliminated from Group C, and Nigeria and Malawi progressed to the quarterfinals. So this is the best explanation on why Zambia got eliminated. The Copper Queens were eliminated from the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations group stage despite finishing level on points with Nigeria and Malawi, scoring most goals, like I said, in Group C and conceding the fewest goals. They finished third in Group C and did not advance to the quarterfinals. Malawi finished first and Nigeria second. Both progressed. Egypt obviously finished with 0 points. This also ended Zambia's hope of reaching the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup through the tournament pathway. So this is what you must understand. Now in the group, Malawi, they scored 7 goals, conceded 5 goals. So they have 2 goals difference. Nigeria scored 9 goals, conceded 5 goals. They have plus 4 goals difference. Zambia scored 8 goals and conceded 2. They have plus 6 goals difference. Now let's jump to these are the key results. I am taking it one after the other so that some of you that are confused will understand it. In the first game, Malawi has scored 3 against Nigeria. Nigeria scored 2. According to you, just look at it. Malawi scored 3 against Egypt, but any result against Egypt is deleted because Nigeria, Malawi, and Zambia, they were tied according to FIFA's head-to-head rule. If you look at this my chart now, you see that Zambia had the best overall goal difference and fewest goal conceded, but CAF tiebreaker rules prioritize results among the tied teams. So now that they all have 6 points, that that head-to-head rule will be eliminated. That one is over. Then they will move to the second one. So FIFA now, CAF now, there is a mini league between Nigeria, Zambia, and Malawi. So CAF will now consider, according to Article 7.1, if you go to, I think 71.1, if I'm not 7.1 of CAF head-to-head rule, you go and read it yourself. You will see here it is properly explained. But the unfortunate thing, I don't think Zambians know or their coaching crew knew what they needed before ahead of that game. Because I believe if they had known, they would have tried to score more goals against Malawi. So you see that head-to-head, as the mini league was established, the three teams tied each player one after the other. Each played one another. Results among them: no, Malawi beat Nigeria 3-2. Nigeria beat Zambia 1-0. Zambia beat Malawi 2-1. Now this is the head-to-head. Each team earned 3 points. One win, one loss. They are tied on that head-to-head rule. Then another head-to-head on goal difference. They tied head-to-head on points. Now the next option now on head-to-head rule is on goal difference. All three teams finished level at 0. Malawi scored 4 goals among the 3 teams: Malawi, Nigeria, and Zambia. Malawi scored 3 against Nigeria and scored 1 against Zambia. That is 4 goals. So Malawi scored 4 goals and conceded 4. So they are all at level 0 on goals. Nigeria scored 3. Remember, Nigeria scored 2 against Malawi and scored 1 against Zambia. That's 3. And Nigeria also conceded 3 goals against Malawi. So Nigeria is also on level 0. Zambia scored 2 goals against Malawi, conceded 1 against Nigeria, conceded 1 against Malawi. So it's also 0. So on goal difference head-to-head rule, they are still tied. Then the next option is to head-to-head goals scored, not goals conceded or whatever, because they tied on goals scored and goals conceded. So they now went to the third option, the head-to-head on goals scored. So Malawi scored 4 goals. They scored 3 against Nigeria, 1 against Zambia. That's 4. Nigeria scored 3 goals. Nigeria scored 2 against Malawi and scored 1 against Zambia. That's 2 goals. Then Zambia scored only 2 goals, and that's the one they scored yesterday against Malawi. That was why Zambia got eliminated. So the big result they got against Egypt was eliminated. It's useless. The 6-2 Nigeria Super Falcons scored against Egypt last night was useless. So that's why it's very important to know the rules of the game before you play the eventual game. Because for me, I saw a lot of screenshots that were flying. The unfortunate thing is that the fortunate thing in this game is that even commentators did not help matters. Broadcaster did not help matter, because they were saying, oh, Zambia progresses with Nigeria, and even Google failed a lot of people. Or whether it is live scores, I don't know here so many people were getting their own scoreline or their table. They failed these Zambians because they believe that, okay, they have made it. And in fact, after the game, when Barbara Banda was giving the Woman of the Match award, so the interviewer asked her if at some point she was thinking that it could have gone both ways, like they would have been eliminated. And Barbara Banda was saying that she's fortunate that they were not eliminated, that they were expecting the result against Nigeria and between Nigeria and Egypt. So at that time, Barbara Banda did not even know that Zambia has been eliminated. So I think this has to do with Africa. If this is a European tournament or any tournament elsewhere, the coaching crew, the fans would have known what is involved. They would have known what the head-to-head rule is all about. But just, I know some Nigerian football analysts, they knew what was involved, and most of them were able to explain it, but not everybody was prepared for it. So when the game started, Nigeria was sitting third. I was seeing a lot of screenshots all over the places. They were saying Nigeria is going to get eliminated. I saw a man that was sharing it when Zambia was already winning 2-0, and then Nigeria was the man was sharing the screenshot. The game started, Nigeria scored 1, Zambia scored 1. So according to the deceptive or the fake table that Google was projecting, if you go online, this fake table, that is not even the table that matches according to the table that aligns with CAF's head-to-head rule. So this one, when Nigeria scored one, Zambia scored one, Nigeria was already sitting third in the table according to the fake table that Google was deceiving a lot of people. Then Nigeria scored two, Zambia scored two, then Nigeria moved to the second position in the table. So along the line, Egypt scored before, towards the end of the first half. Egypt cancelled one, scored one. It was 2-1. I know at halftime. Nigeria went back to third position in Group C. That is this wrong table that deceived Zambians and their fans, and maybe even their coaching crew as well. Then, as the game progressed, Nigeria scored 3-1 against Egypt. Zambia pulled one back. Then Nigeria went back Nigeria went back to third position in Group C, which is not true. But Nigeria succeeded in defeating Egypt on 6-2. And everyone believed that finally Nigeria has qualified. And then we were all saying, "Oh, Malawi is out. But it was surprising to us that CAF themselves projected it that Malawi and Nigeria progressed and Zambia has crashed out. Based on the head-to-head rules, everyone was shocked. Zambians, their fans were blown away. Most of them were angry. It's just that I feel like Zambia players, their fans, their coaching crew did not understand what they needed before that game. Because I believe if they had known, if they have it at hand that this is what the job we are coming to do, we need to score at least 3. If Zambia had at least scored Malawi 4, but it's not even easy to score Malawi 4 goals or 3 goals. This is Malawi that put 3 past the Super Falcons. The Super Falcons could only score 2 against them. So it's not going to be easy for Zambians to even score up to 3 or 4. Even the 2 they scored against Malawi is just they performed well. So that was it. So that's just what happened. And then if Zambia had gotten a draw at least against the Super Falcons of Nigeria, it would have been very much better for them. Imagine a team you played against the Super Falcons, they got a red card. Oluwatosin Demehin got red card at the 40th minute of the first half. So the Super Falcons played with one player down. They have one player was given red card, so they have more advantage over the Super Falcons. So they played with the Super Falcons with 10 players for almost 60 minutes, and they could not even score. I knew that the Super Falcons qualified for the round of 8 or the quarterfinal the moment they won Zambia 1-0. That was when I knew that the Super Falcons would progress, and there's nothing stopping them anymore. They will definitely beat Cameroon and progress to the semi-final and also qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And you never know, they can go all the way and win the 11th Women's African Cup of Nations title. As of now, at this moment, nothing is stopping them. It's just that the Super Falcons coach Justin Matugu needs to do what is right. He has a lot of squad. He has squad depth. He clearly doesn't know how to use them. We have quite powerful attacking option. Look at what happened yesterday when Oshala got injured. Gift Monday came and then her ball control was out of this world. It was so great. Joy Omewa, Rinsola Babajide, she was given the woman of the match award. She provided 2 assists and she was all over the place. So these are players I feel in our game against Cameroon, Babajide, Gift Monday, and Joy Omewa, I think they need to start their game. They need to start that game so that we need to finish our game against Cameroon in the first half. Most of the games that we have played against Cameroon is always decided mostly in the first half. And then we progress to the semi-final because they are going to be very careful. And Chiamaka Nnadozie needs to improve because I saw the low shots that she received yesterday. There was no much power in them, but she couldn't handle them. And I'm wondering, is this the Chiamaka that we used to know or some other player? So we are now in the knockout stage. If Nigeria loses, we are out. So for me, if they qualify for the World Cup, I don't care what they do in the semi-final. I don't care whether they're going to win the 3rd position or first. Let them just qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And that's it.